Hi, welcome to TheDoorTalks. Today we're going to continue our hugely popular review series of Lone Wolf and Cub. Right, so I'm going to quickly sort of give a vague outline of the plot, because I thought, in general, this was a little bit easier plot-wise.
Yeah, so much
to
easier.
follow. Daigoro, the little kid, and Ogami are travelling, basically being bounty hunters, or whatever you want to call them, travelling around, and they get assassin. So you've got the Yagyu clan from the previous film are still in pursuit.
Yes.
But they can't quite go into that area, because after that fight at the end of the last film with the mirror babyface, they've said, okay, we're not going to fight you, but because it's a new region, they talk to another part of the Yagyu clan, which is the female assassins. So they basically sort of hire them, and to kill...
They're called the Dancing Girls or something like that. Yeah.
So basically the Yagyu clan speaks to them, and I think it feels like they're still sort of part of the Yagyu clan, but from basically a different area.
Yeah.
And just the first kind of weird bit of the film is, he's like, are you women good enough to kill?
No, he didn't really say that.
Well, yeah.
He didn't really say that at all. He was actually like, well, you know he's a very experienced swordsman.
You can chop a horse in half. His sword, you calling his sword like the horse chopper or something?
Yeah, well, I think, maybe that's what happened.
He must have cut the head off a horse at some point.
But he's like, you know he's very powerful. And she's like, how dare you? Yeah. Who's your best guy?
Yeah.
And all these guys behind them must be thinking, which one of us will you choose?
Who's going to pick?
Yeah. And then they're like hoping that it's going to be like, oh, I hope it's me. And it turns out it's like, what's his name?
I can't remember the guy's name. He's not in it very long.
Anyway, so John pops out, and then they're like, right, John, we're going to face you off against all these people, which is not a fair fight.
No, they go jump into the garden. And he's like, I'm a ninja with a simple leap, but I can leap into the garden.
It wasn't a simple leap, by the way.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a simple leap. He was like, I can make it in one leap. And he's like, oh, got to throw my little bear claw thing, and then we'll swing out. But then they all just grab him, and they just basically cut him into little bits.
Quite slowly. I got vibes of Looper during that man's losing part of his...
Oh, yeah, it was quite a bit like that.
His nose flicks on the floor, his fingers, a foot, and he's still fighting with like one arm, one foot.
I don't think he's fighting. I think he's just not had time to fall over yet.
Yeah,
like he's just like fucking Christ. But that to me just was no like, oh yeah, send one guy in against 10 of my girls.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, that guy's gonna lose. And it's like, oh yeah, no fucking doubt.
And also at no point are we gonna use that same method against Ogami. Like we're never just gonna swarm him all at once and chop him to little pieces.
Let's go one at a time, or three at a time, or two at a time.
The Yagyu clan is still sort of hanging around, but now you've got the female assassins. So they're after Ogami pretty much the whole film. That's one sort of plot line. And then you've got Ogami who gets his job. His job is, there's an area of Japan, I can't remember the life of me what it's called, and they make this dye, this indigo dye, and they know everything about it, and they're making a shitload of money. And they're making more money than they're telling the shogunate. Or is the shogunate?
Yeah.
The Yagyu clan have sent people in who've been spying and found out we've been making all this fucking money, so we killed them. We chopped the shit out of them and chucked them in the river or something.
But we're also just quickly, we're also treating all the workers like absolute shit.
Yeah.
So all the workers, even though we're making a fucking shitload of money and everyone should prosper, we're getting all the money. And all the artisans are getting chucked out.
Yeah, they're basically avoiding tax. The whole thing is a big tax dodge. So one of the sort of master artisan indigo dye makers like, this is fucking shit, I'm running off. Yeah. So he goes off with some of the Yagyu clan to get taken back to the shogunate, and then he's going to use it. So then then the shogunate can make more dye. They're going to get rich. So the dye people are like, I'm just going to call them dye people. The dye people are like, kill this old man in a box. Yeah. Basically. And
essentially.
He's quite far ahead already. Yeah. He's been taken away.
I think we're skipping quite a bit.
Well, no, I'm saying, sorry, that's like the other thread. So that's his sort of assassination mission. Yeah. But then he also has to deal with the female assassins and the Yagyu clan. Who are after him.
The Chimey people. Can we just quickly talk about the Chime people? So quite a quick bit throughout the film. At the start of the film, there's a lot of suspense.
I love those weird little scenes like that. Where it's like the ding.
Yeah, and he's got to grab his
sword. I thought it was like, I thought it was almost like ghosts, like watching him. Yeah. It was always sort of funny, like he's in the bath and just going through the woods.
Well, that's the whole samurai thing. It's like you've got to be constantly prepared and ready for like an attack at any point in time.
Like flicking his little sword.
Yeah, that's it. Just holding it really slowly.
You need to play Ghost of Tsushima, by the way, because pretty much every character in this, I was like, God, that's a costume from Ghost of Tsushima.
So the Chime people weren't after him until later, because the chimes were happening literally from the get-go of the film. There was one chime scene, then another chime scene when he's in the bathhouse, and then another chime scene after when the girls are actually going to attack him, but the girls hadn't got their bounty yet on him, or their hit. So it was weird. The chimes were just happening everywhere, and he was scared of the chimes, but then afterwards he was like, Oh, yeah, the chimes are a threat.
Confused because I thought the chimes, the Yagu, because the Yagu basically can't touch him until he gets out of the area, sort of thing. Because they made a promise that they were. That's why they have to hire the female assassins, which are sort of. It's like I got to make someone's going to tell us all how we're wrong because I think there's actually sort of 3 clans because there's the female Yagus and there's the Yagus from the first film, and then it's like the Kurokawa.
Yeah, so the Kurokawa were tasked by I think the big Yagu clan that own it. The Kurokawas were tasked by them to go
to hire the women.
To hire the women, yeah.
Okay, let's just fly through the fight scene. So it starts off where he's fighting in the desert, men with straw baskets on their head.
Wait, that starts off.
Yeah, right. The first thing, it's different people. It's not the people from the end.
Oh yeah.
Chops that guy.
Yeah.
The main move of this film is the chop directly through the face.
Head. Yeah.
He does that,
and then then everyone seems to make eye contact with him.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
and their skin awkward. Sort of kind of makes little plasticine mounds round the sword. So, but he does it 3 times, I think, in the film.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, because
that.
So there's that little fight, and then he has to fight the female assassins. The women get the job right. We're gonna have to kill him. So there's some playing as clowns. This is me playing as clowns in the street.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, look at those guys, and then they just attack him. It's very sort of John Wick 2, where suddenly everybody is an assassin secretly. So he kills them pretty fucking quickly. Just like stab. And then
all the people must have just been like standing there, just thinking we were having a nice time watching this show.
Because they just stand there like
they're just like, oh,
there's just like 3 dead bodies, and then there's the radish women.
Yeah.
Now, let me do the song. The side dish tonight is radish, sliced white in colour.
I don't understand how that radish broke
through the front of the car.
That car.
It was like a little Mario Kart weapon or something, because it's like cartoon radishes. And were the radish people the same people that had the hats, the odd job hats, or were they a different set?
No, so basically it went... The radish came... So basically it was clown puppet people. Then it was 2 other people.
Did they have the round hats with blades on? When it cuts Daigoro's hair...
Yes.
Because he throws it and it's going really slow. It's like, Daigoro! And he ducks down really slowly and cuts his little thing off.
Yes.
And then the last one left is the main girl. I cannot remember, basically the leader of the female assassins. Yeah. And they have a bit of a fight, and then he tries to go for the whole, I'm going to chop your head. And she grabs the blade. And then
she saw through it.
Yeah. And then she basically randomly jumps out of her clothes.
Oh, she flips him over and then just... Yeah.
But he kind of does the thing where her clothes are almost standing still, and she jumps out, does like a backflip, and then lands really far away, and then runs backwards, just like this. They must have done it forward. They must have reversed it, because she's just like this. And she slowly disappears into the background.
Each time it just goes into his eyes, and he's like seeing her, and she's even further away. I remember this from Shogun Assassin, and it was, this made me piss myself.
Yeah, so she was the head, and then, and then he's absolutely knackered, because he just had to fight loads of fucking people. Then he goes through the woods.
Well, no, he gets cut up.
But is that the baby cart with the blades? That's...
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit later, yeah. So basically, then he goes through the woods and he sees the Yagu clan.
And he pushes the cart, and the kid presses the button so these blades come out. Yeah. How sharp are those blades? Because the cart is going like this fast.
Oh, yeah, how sharp, yeah. And also, the blades are also not circular blades. I don't really know how you'd make a circular blade. It'd have to be like a sword. Yeah, it'd be a sword.
It's just chance that it hits them on the right, because obviously it hits them on the side, it'll go, ow.
Fingers crossed. But it was funny how one of the feet stayed upright. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so some guy just sort of stood there.
Just like...
Oh, so shit. Then it kind of goes he's just basically killing loads of people with his... I can never remember the name of the stick where he double sticks it.
It's a naginata, but it's not really.
So then he's just... It was very John Wick vibes, where he's just had to fight so many fucking people. So he's just like, fucking hell, pushing him across the bridge.
Shit.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got a big gash on his arm, cut in some sort of vein.
And then he goes to a little farmhouse or something, and his shack and just collapses, and then it's Daigoro Adventure Day.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be Home Alone 2. Daigoro to make loads of things. And it was basically just Daigoro just sort of setting up loads of knives and just killing everyone with his cart, just pushing the cart out there, sending it out there, and then stabbing everyone. I was quite happy
just watching him learn how to move water. Because basically he's trying to find food and water for his dad, so he goes to the river and he's like, and there's no water left. And then at the end he puts it in his mouth and then holds it and runs all the way.
I did that one time in primary school. We wanted to make something wet and we didn't have any way to do it, so we just ran.
But it's a smart way of doing it. It's but you see him 3 times just going, it doesn't work, and then he finds some little rice cakes or something on this little shrine. He gives his dad some more strength, basically, while he's just like that, and then
gets captured.
The guy, again, we're really terrible names. This guy, the guy who looks like the guy from the first film, the Kurokawa guy, the leader of the female assassins, and then a couple of his last 2 men, I think, who's got left because everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
Steal Daigoro and hang him over a well. And the kid, he's just swinging away. So they're talking. The kid's just happy, just swinging away. And they're like, fight us or come with us or whatever, or we're going to drop your kid down the well.
Yeah.
But then the kid purposely drops it, because it's the bottomless well. So the kid on purpose drops his little sandals.
Yeah, that's quite clever.
So it hits the water, and the dad's like, oh, well done, Daigoro.
Yeah,
so then he basically just
not bottomless.
rushes them.
Because there's nothing that's bottomless.
Yeah, it's impossible. It just goes out into space through Earth. So he basically rushes them, chops the main guy straight through the face, kills his other 2 men, I can't quite remember, some sort of face chopping.
Some sort of cool thing.
And then he grabs the rope, and it's just the girl left.
His foot on a rope.
And he's like, why are you doing this? You shouldn't be using a kid. Like, it's not honourable at all.
And he looks at her, I think she knows this.
And you just like, he shames her.
Yeah. And then she knows this.
I thought she was then gone from the film. I had to look after, because I realised they then go on a boat ride, and it's the same woman. For some reason, I don't know if her makeup was different or what, but I was like, who's that woman?
I think she looks a lot more beaten, and you sort of just think she's just a standard average, like she's just a normal person, she's not an assassin.
I thought she was one of the female assassins who hadn't died, like the same crew, but I didn't think it was the same woman.
I think I originally thought that in the Shogun, Shogun Assassin, I think
she seems very different.
Yeah,
she's so confident and cocky like the rest of the film, but she's been shamed. So basically, now he's pretty much free to actually do his job, which is jump on a boat, which was clearly just in a port the whole time. You never saw it like a full shot. It was always just like that. You could see the land like creeping around the corner of the thing. It's like they just hide a boat for half an hour. And you meet Ben Tenrai.
Yeah, Ben Tenrai.
The 3 brothers.
Well, you met them beforehand because I think
it was like a flashback.
They were told that they're after them.
Yeah.
But because Ben Tenrai are basically there to go and transport the Indigo Man.
Yeah, the what are they called? The bodyguards, essentially.
Let's usually talk about Ben Tenrai.
Yeah.
And we'll say which thing you think you'd like the most.
Yes.
Okay.
So Wolverine.
So Wolverine claws. Just spiky hands, really.
Yeah, gauntlets.
Spikes down your arm and spikes on your hands. This looked like it really did a lot of damage, but I didn't understand why it did. It was so much blood.
They must have had like little balloons like under, like just punch people and just like
it was mental. And then, basically a big spiky stick.
It's like an old like a policeman's old school one, but with
wooden spikes on it.
Yeah,
it was quite odd that I thought it was weird. Yeah, he was destroying shit with that though. So which one would you go for?
I'd probably go with the spike bat, but they're all a bit terrible.
Yeah,
because if someone's got a sword, they've just got the reach.
Yeah,
they didn't have anything that could get.
But if you go against someone who's faster than you, then you're fucked. If you've got the speed on someone, then you can just be like, nah, fuck you. And then you'd be like, oh shit.
I'd probably go for the punchy ones, because like I can still probably grab other things and go, I'll throw a punch in.
Well, yeah, because you could just like hold the sword and then punch.
Yeah. They were like 3 really bad ideas. Like they just didn't quite. They were all like side weapons. They shouldn't have been, but they used them as their main weapons.
But they were a bit like, let's give them weird weapons, and they were like, oh, okay. But let's give them weird weapons that no one's ever thought about before. But it's like, well, surely people would have thought about how good those weapons would be. It's like, but let's not make them good.
Yeah, sword's better than that.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can use that, but sword's better. So basically, they're all so Daigoro, the female assassin lady, Ben Tenrai, and a lot of the Yagu clan are on that boat.
Person. Yeah.
And the sneaky nose man.
Sneaky nose man, yeah.
Yeah, so you sort of the Yagu clan go, right, we're gonna do the job without her.
No, that's not the Yagu.
Were they not the Yagu clan? No, they were the Dai people.
Those are the Dai people.
Okay, the Dai people, sorry. They like, fuck it, we're gonna do this job before Ogami even does it.
I think they've been they've given out that bounty to
a lot of people, yeah.
So, because that guy with the cut nose off guy, he gets his nose cut off.
Well, it's like a tiny shred of skin off his nose.
It's fucking horrible. I fucking hate that.
Yeah. It's like, sting in salt water as well. He has to be in the sea.
Fucking wreck. But then, so he gets his nose cut off. But he says, he's like, I'm going to get that massive 200 Ryu bounty.
I had no idea what the money was, because he kept talking about money in this one. They didn't really speak about money last time, but it was like he had the money at the bathhouse at the start.
Well, it's like, I think it's 500 Ryu is what Shogun Assassin, not Shogun Assassin, is what Lone Wolf and Cub charge.
These other people, the Dai people, try and get the bounty and fight Ben Tenrai and just get absolutely fucking murdered. So you get to see all the weapons and how, but it was just a lot of just blood squirting.
Yeah.
And then they just chill with Ogami in the boat.
Well, because like Ogami says, like he says, like, I quite liked Ben Tenrai.
Yeah, they seemed alright.
Like, they didn't seem like they were like, we're gonna kill you. They were like, we get this all the time.
We're doing a job, you're doing a job.
Yeah, what's the problem? It was very
we're not gonna attack you.
They were quite John Wicky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sort of understand the etiquette of it. So I actually really liked Ben Tenrai, and they were sort of doing the honourable job out of the two. You know, like just basically helping someone who wants to get a better life.
Just an innocent guy, like an old man.
And it's all going to help the shogunate. So actually they're just doing the best thing in the world. But the shogunate is bad though.
Yeah, and they didn't really kill anybody they didn't have to. And they were similar things where they were doing their job, he was doing their job, and they're like, don't attack. We won't attack you if you don't attack us. We're just doing the job. We're just doing bodyguards. And then the ship gets set on fire.
Yeah.
That soy sauce is actually oil. For some reason, they had it in soy sauce bottles to hide it.
Why? You can just move oil. I'm sure you can move oil.
Maybe there's like a ban on it or something like that.
Yeah.
Prohibition of oil or something. So the whole boat sets on fire. Ben Tenrai are like, if you survive this, come fight us if you like.
Oh, no, they're like, don't fight us.
Oh, don't fight us, but if you're so good, you should be able to escape us. We're used to this. They're like, we're used to this all the time.
Yeah, we handle...
They're just chatting, and the whole boat is on fire, like... Fucking champs. They just like put
don't be scared. You've got a kid. This is brutal. They shouldn't have done this. You've got a kid. They were actually really fucking nice. I like Ben Tenrai a lot.
So they just run up the stairs with like their things over their head, like Dracula. Just like we're fine. Jump in the sea.
And they do a little flip in the sea.
Yeah, and then Ogami just goes, and then just jumps straight through. It's like
he's been through this a lot as well.
Yeah, clearly. I don't know much about samurai swords, but I do know that they like one blunt incredibly easily, and they're not good for chopping huge lumber.
His one can cut a horse in half.
Yeah, you can cut a horse in half, but he literally does 2 cuts, jumps up, and it's like when you look at him, he's like jumping somehow stood on air because he comes out like he's on a little lift.
I don't really get that. I don't think they even know how he did that.
Yeah, he jumps. Does he? Yeah, he jumps in the sea, doesn't he? Oh yeah, because he throws the baby cart, even though it's lead lined, can still happily float like a little boat. Jumps on, off they go to the dunes,
and then the woman attacks him. While she's swimming. Yeah, because you're missing a huge point of this. The woman attacks him while he's swimming, and then basically sort of, I don't know how the fuck he saw this coming. Because if I'm being honest, that is a stealthy attack.
But she wasn't hit the whole time. They kind of give each other eye, like they know each other are there the whole time.
So he's sort of like aware of it. Anyway, so he basically just grabs her, knocks her out, and then swims back with her as well.
And the baby cart,
pushing the baby cart, pushing swords.
You need a little Daigoro to have a little.
That would work. Anyway, so they make it into this like fucking farm, not farm. They make it into this
like another shack. There's all these abandoned shacks.
Shack on the beach, right? But this is me thinking, right? So, I'll tell you my plan of what I would do in this scenario later.
Okay.
But he gets to go to Daigoro naked, and he gets himself naked, and they're like, right, we need to conserve our heat.
Well, no, he doesn't say that.
No, he doesn't say that in any way.
And after the last film, I was like, here's the bad thing. I was like, the whole film, everyone's been treated quite nicely. Apart from the noses and face and cut up to bits. But so far,
no inequality.
Yeah, the women are just as more dangerous than the guys. Yeah. It's all very nicey. Yeah. And then I was like, oh no, here's the horrible bit.
So basically, he sort of just grabs her and starts taking her clothes off. Doesn't say a fucking word. And then cuddles her. And then he's like, we need to conserve body heat. They all just want to conserve body heat.
And she's fine with that. Once he explains she's like,
because they're going to save each other,
It was more of a bit of a funny misunderstanding than...
No, it wasn't a funny misunderstanding. It was him just being... You just say the word. Right, just quickly, I'm going to say what I would do, right? Okay. Outside the fucking shack, there are 2 canoes, right?
Oh, I didn't see the canoes.
Right, 2 canoes, all fucking airtight inside, right? You go and you put the canoes on top of you and the girl and Daigoro.
Yeah,
right? Daigoro. And then you all start breathing.
Why are you not breathing before?
The canoes but the canoes on top of you in the little shack as well.
Okay.
And then you're fucking all the body heat and all the heat from inside of you is just going to get all there. Well, no, I don't think they could make a fire because it's all wet and
burn the canoes.
Well, but but you just fucking do that.
Cuts to Ben Tenrai, man in a box. It reminded me a lot of the Ark. Do you know Indiana Jones when they carry the Ark on the stick thing? Yeah. He must be sweltering in that little horrible box.
I quickly just looked up where I didn't realise there was a desert in Thingy. In one, but it's I realised it's Totodori Dunes.
Yeah, it's in Zaki-chan wants to hang out. They go there.
Oh, really? The whole
episode where they go. It's like it's like a big tourist place. Yeah, but I didn't know until I watched that.
But I don't know how they noticed these people were there.
Yeah, so basically it's all perfect dunes, like no one's walked them forever, it looks like. And then Ben Tenrai guy, the main guy with the Wolverine, let's call him, he's just like, it's the sand, and then his blood starts like bubbling up.
Yeah, and then he does it about 5 other times, and then all of a sudden there's about 20 people also in boxes. I think this is the coolest way to assassinate people.
So then a huge fight happens, running around on the sandpit thing. And Ben Tenrai just stabbing people.
Yeah, they all get.
And a lot of their guys get murdered as well because they've got a lot.
I don't think that many. Do they?
A lot. I bet there's only not half of them left by. Because I was like, shit, they're all going to be dead, and the box will be dropped. No. Which is it's not far off. I think there's only a couple of guys left.
I thought there was quite a few left. I thought Ben Tenrai handled it quite well.
They did well because it was like 25, 30 people attacking them at once.
But then
Ogami sat there.
But then little Daigoro's like. And Ogami's up on a fucking hill in the silhouette.
But where's Daigoro?
Daigoro's just sat there, so they come across Daigoro.
Oh, do they?
And they're like,
I remember being on the hill.
That's that kid. And then like, He's like up there, and then the big fight happens.
I was mildly disappointed by this end fight.
I was mildly disappointed, but I'm so glad they had the weird line in at the end. Do you know
when he gets the die guy?
When he gets the
well. He kills. Oh yes, that was weird. Yeah. So first guy he kills, I think. He kills Wolverine last, but the first two, one guy gets chopped straight through, so his head goes open like a coconut.
That was weird.
Yeah, and then the other guy jumps on his shoulders and jumps into the air.
Oh no, wait,
he jumps off the other guy. He stabs the first kill. Oh no, sorry, he's him. So sorry, the first guy gets stabbed in the chest. Yeah. And the other guy jumps on his shoulder, flips over, and then he gets that thing.
Chopped. That's the second time that's happened because that jumping over someone's shoulders is the way the first one happened.
Yeah, I think it might.
Yeah, it was.
And then it's Wolverine Man.
It's Wolverine Man, but Wolverine Man gets
a little square cut out on his neck.
He gets a diagonal cut along his windpipe,
and he's always wanted.
And he's always wanted to hear it because he's always wanted to do it. But then finally, he gets it done to him.
Yeah, he wants it cut that makes a sound. Yeah, he wants to cut someone's neck.
It's called like a special thing. It's called like the final breath of a tiger or something.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
Well, yeah, translated as. Yeah. But then he hears it and he's like, "What a laugh!"
Yeah,
what a fucking rolling down laugh.
The sand dude's like pissing out, and then Daigoro's like,
"Oh no, sorry. Wait, quickly!" He doesn't jump on his fucking head. He doesn't jump on his shoulders. He cuts that guy's head in half, right? Yeah. And then the other guy's running at him, and he throws the knife. He throws the
sword. Yeah, and he goes,
and
"I didn't
cuts right into him." Yeah, you throw a sword.
Yeah.
And then he rolls down the thing, and he goes down, gets the thing, then he cuts his windpipe.
Yeah, sorry. Then he gets both. So he has two swords. So at the end, he has two swords. He has to kill the rest of the bodyguards who are around the arc, or the Die Man.
Pretty fucking easily, to be honest. And then he kills the Die Man.
And then he's just like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, Daigoro, like Lone Wolf and Cub, at your service.
Yeah.
Kills this poor old man.
Yeah, the poor man who just wanted better working rights.
Unarmed old man just like,
just wanted better working rights. Just, I don't know.
And then it was a bit of a repeat of the first film where it has Daigoro, so I keep saying, no, Ito, I keep getting the names confused, Ogami, walking along with the baby cart, then the woman, this female assassin, sort of after him a little bit, she's sort of following him.
Yeah.
And he goes... And he puts the sword up.
Yeah, that was
and it was great, like the first one where it's got the girl at the end from the onsen.
Oh,
and he's gonna cut he does the same thing where she's following, he puts the sword to cut the bridge.
Yeah.
He's like, don't follow me.
Yeah, it was
very
like
similar.
That, yeah. I thought this was more of like a,
well, I'll kill you.
Do you really want to fucking do this?
Yeah. I've killed everybody.
Yeah. So this one was like a better story, even though the story was all about Die.
It was about Die. It was very weird.
It was really odd that like they kept that out of Shogun Assassin, no doubt. I think they were doing bad things or whatever. It wasn't all about the production of Indigo Die and how to monopolize on that. Yeah. But I thought the story was very simple. And it was quite good.
It was a lot easier to understand than the first one, which I think had a lot of flashbacks.
But the fight scenes weren't really there on this one. Like there was a lot of good mass fight scenes, but it was a bit more of a mishmash, and it wasn't like. You know, I keep thinking about the scene when Daigoro was... not Daigoro.
You're doing it now.
When Ito's trying to, like, escape out of the Shogun's, like...
and he comes out
and he comes out and he stabs basically 1 million people up. Yeah. But there was nothing like that was as good, and there wasn't as good one-on-one samurai fights.
Like the mirror fight.
The mirror fight
and the one on the waterfall thing. And I think it was also the fact that the first film... We knew the cart did stuff, but we didn't know. Nothing really, it's like bubbling up. So right at the end, it's like, that's that guy. And it's like, shit, then he has to fight, obviously, that whole like rabble of the bad guys. Whereas this was like, just loads of little skirmishes.
But I was quite impressed with how much the cart did do.
Yes. I have no idea the mechanics of that cart.
Yeah, no, I have no idea either.
I'd say the fight scenes were better. But there was just, again, in this one, there's just certain shots I think look beautiful. Like, it's an odd thing. There was this bit where I think it's snowing, and he's like, it's this... The beautiful shot, and he's like coming in the back and he's spinning that just before he gets the job. He's spinning that little fire thing. Yeah. I was thinking of the guy in Game of Thrones, Benji, or whatever. He's spinning that little flame thing, and it's just like a picture. It was like a moving picture. It was, but it was just certain bits that I really like the cinematography, which is a thing.
I have to say the first one did have a lot of that as well.
Yeah, it did have
a lot. I think we might have missed, but like the first one, I thought, wow, that's really
especially in the fight scenes. But it's sometimes where it's just those like. I say like the sort of still photographs almost of just still photographs of just like the surroundings and stuff. It just was like shit, this looks really, really nice. So let's do the scores.
Scores on the doors. What are you going to go for?
I think I sort of enjoyed this just as much. Yeah. I'd say that some of the fight scenes weren't quite as good, but there was a lot just it was much simpler to follow, and I say I like some of the cinematography in it, and it just sort of cracked on with it. It was like, here's a new enemy, very video game. It's like, here's these assassins, fight these.
Yeah.
So I'm literally going to say it's the same 6.5 as the last one.
See, I'm going to give it more than the last one because I didn't come out of it feeling
disgusting.
Yeah. And I didn't. But
I think the sword fights in the first one make up for that.
That makes up for it. Yeah, you can be as morally bankrupt as you want, as long as it's got loads of good sword fight scenes. But I'm going to go for a 6.5 as well. So it's a 6.5. This one.
6.5.
A slight. Well, you'll have to watch the review.
I already just said.
I'm sure you have.
You must be one of those 24. What were we on? 27 people watched the last one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Are you part of that 27? You could be number 27.8. 27.8.
27.8.
Well, thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
See you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.